Vice President of Talent Solutions and Careers, the wonderful Dan Shapero.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Shapero, and I'm proud to say that, like all of you, I get people jobs for a living. I'm responsible for the LinkedIn Talent Solutions business and the products that we serve to the recruiting community and to job seekers all over the world. And what I find amazing is that the people in this room collectively hired over 3.5 million people in the last year. If you look close enough, you actually may see one of the people whose life you changed on the screen behind me. And sometimes in the daily process of in-mails and interviews, we forget the fact that every open rec is the opportunity to change someone's life, and every new hire is the chance to change the trajectory of our company. So I'm proud, but I'm also a little bit giddy, because what we're about to share today represents the largest evolution in talent strategy that we've had since we started the business nearly 10 years ago. In fact, I remember back to that first Talent Connect in 2010, and what was so cool about it was a community of professionals coming together to figure out how to take all of this new information available on LinkedIn and change the face of recruiting through passive sourcing. Little conversations with Sheila Steiger, Amy McKee, John Tate, Lou Adler, all these little conversations that we had in that setting built our roadmap, taught us what we could do, opened up new opportunities. I have a feeling that this event around the theme of talent intelligence is going to have that same pivotal point in recruiting. I also want to take a second to talk about Lou Adler for a second, because for those of you that don't know Lou as well as I do, he's been a mentor to so many in the community of recruiting over all the years. His book, Hire With Your Head, became the training playbook for recruiters all over the globe. Lou, are you here? Where's Lou? Lou, can I get you to stand up for a second? So, I found out that you're retiring in the next 12 months before the next Talent Connect. You're trying to. I feel like we've had this conversation a few times, so good luck. But I just thought it was important to take a moment, because I speak for everyone at LinkedIn when I say you've been a mentor and friend to all of us. You taught us so much about how to think about bringing LinkedIn and leveraging it for good in the world. And I think that you've taught so many people in this room. And so I thought we all deserve you a big round of applause for your contribution. I love that guy. Love that guy. It's hard to remember a world before passive talent even existed. A world where the only people we could see were those that were active. In the professional world, for professionals, that community is pretty small. In fact, it was a time when a recruiter built their whole career off of building this list of names and phone numbers of people that they would go to time and time again when they had an open rec. And companies would work extremely hard to try to keep their employees invisible to the outside world. In fact, I remember this story that my dad, Norm, told me. That's my dad. Check out that collar. Isn't that amazing? My dad told me that he was a tech exec back in the 90s, and he told me that one day his boss came into his office and he said, "Norm, congratulations. We've promoted you in the organization, and because of your new level, we're entrusting you with the most sacred and confidential of documents, a company phone book." As if somehow if this document went in the wrong hands, employees would flood out the door onto new opportunities at other places. We're well past that world. At the first conference at Talent Connect in 2010, passive recruiting was the future. It opened up a new sea of candidates all over the world to recruiters everywhere. But passive sourcing is now the present. It's table stakes. And open information and technology have created a new world of challenges that we need to start addressing together. So I want to talk about 3 of them. The first is universal access. Gone are the days we're figuring out the names and phone numbers of people to call, because now we have a world where you got to figure out how to win when all the other recruiters have the same names that you do, maybe. It's also a much more open platform for professionals to find information. Any member can come to LinkedIn and find millions of jobs, research millions of companies, have more outreach from hiring managers and recruiters. So the world is much more competitive than it's ever been. So we need to figure out a way to stand out, how to connect with people on a personal level, how to tell a story that's going to incite them to wonder if they should be joining your team as opposed to the team that they're already on. And finally, the intensity that we're seeing in the market has never been higher. The expectations of hiring managers for more and more specific skill sets and capabilities has never been greater. And those same hiring managers are coming with deeper questions around talent strategy, all the way from team leaders to the C-suite to the board. And the reason that's happening is because talent is the way that companies win and lose in the modern age. That is the economic truth of the moment. You win or you lose on your people, which creates a tremendous opportunity for all of us if we get it right, and an existential risk for our companies if we don't. You don't have to look far to see the pressures that are being placed on recruiters these days. Every client I talk to, they talk about how the demands on their organization are getting greater and greater to find great people, find them quickly, find them efficiently. And that's actually mirrored in the recruiting that happens on the platform. You may not know this, but recruiting skills are one of the most highly recruited skill set on LinkedIn, up there with machine learning and data science and digital marketing. Jeff shared some of the stats earlier about markets where recruiting is probably the most in high demand skill of any skill on the platform. So that's great. And it mirrors what we think is going to be the modern playbook for winning teams. Recruiting teams that win in the future are going to do two things incredibly well. They're going to hire great recruiters with instincts to understand the candidate, to assess them, to talk to them on their terms, to tell a story that compels them, to engage in a dialogue, to work with the business, to advise them on talent strategy. And combining those great recruiters with great instincts, with insights, with data and products and capabilities that allow them to make decisions based on real truth, and to use that data to reinvent every step in the recruiting process. We're already seeing this trend happen in some of our more sophisticated clients. They're taking all the data at their disposal and they're piecing it together in ways to try to figure out how to outflank their competition, how to get an edge, how to be more efficient. But to be honest, the systems and the products haven't really caught up. It's really a world of data and duct tape, trying to piece together various things and make it work. And I absolutely love this quote from Nick at Intuit. If you read it, it's the kind of quote that I think happens when you're on the precipice of a fundamentally new arc in the function. Because what Nick's saying here is that he's investing time and attention and resource and creativity to figure out how to do this. And the reason he's doing that is because it works, because he's discovered an edge. So now the question is, how do we take technology and product and take those capabilities to the next level and do it in a way that's accessible to more companies around the world? We are entering a world where data is the corporate superpower. Every function in every organization, from marketing to sales to finance to supply chain, they have all upped their game with data. And we believe that the companies that figure out how to harness that data are going to win in their markets. We are entering a world where data changes the game. And so whereas the last 10 years of recruiting was this arc of figuring out passive sourcing, we think that that still matters, and everyone needs to improve on how they source passive candidates. The next 10 years is going to be a world of talent intelligence, leveraging LinkedIn's data and your data and combining it with the most advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies to rethink every step in the recruiting process. And we're all in. Our entire team is laser focused on figuring out how to take all of the capabilities inherent in LinkedIn data and this new technology and bringing it life for you so that you can win in your markets. So let's talk about where all this data actually comes from. As Jeff mentioned earlier today, more professionals are using LinkedIn more often to do a wider range of things than ever before. And this has happened at the same time that the amount of jobs the amount of jobs exploration that's happening on the platform has absolutely exploded. The key thing to realize is that these two things are fundamentally linked. Because with every article that someone reads, with every course they take, with every connection they rekindle from a prior work experience, that's an opportunity to show them a role that might pique their interest. And the reason we can do that is because we know who they are, not just on their profile, but the person behind the profile. Because with every interaction they have with LinkedIn, we learn more about their ambitions and their aspirations, their wants and their passions. Over the last few years, through these trends and through a big investment we've made in our jobs experience, jobs exploration on LinkedIn has grown dramatically. Over 10 million jobs are now on the platform. 20 million professionals every week explore jobs on LinkedIn, generating north of 14 million applications. And that's great, because that means more applicants for all of you. But it also means that every piece of engagement tells us a little bit more about what that person's looking for, so that we can make all of our products work together better. If you step back and look at this in the aggregate, this allows us to build a fundamentally new vision of what's going on in the labor market. On the member side, with every article someone reads, with every course they take, with everything that they share, every company they follow, we build this picture at a personal level and in the aggregate that allows us to really navigate the world in a way that's never been there before. And we can also understand what you want. Because with every hire you make, with every email you send, with every applicant you decide to spend time with or not spend time with, we learn what you want. And when we can bring these things together, we can build products that are never possible. For the rest of the presentation, we're going to bring talent intelligence to life. First, we're going to share with you some of the advanced technologies and capabilities that we're infusing into all of our products. We're going to talk about how these capabilities are already transforming the efficacy of the products that you use every day, like Recruiter and Jobs. How we're enabling these capabilities not just in LinkedIn products, but throughout the entire ecosystem, through partnerships with ATSs and our Recruiter System Connect capability. And finally, we're going to show you some new stuff. A product that I've been told is the coolest thing we've launched since Recruiter 10 years ago. So to bring these things to life, I'd like to invite up John Jerson, Head of Sourcing Products at LinkedIn.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm John Jerson. I know so many of us have been hearing quite a lot about artificial intelligence lately. And with so much information out there, it can be a little bit hard to understand for any of us what's actually going on. So I'd like to start by taking just a minute to explain why we're talking about AI today. Efforts towards AI systems certainly aren't new, even though we see them more and more these days, for example, in the way Netflix recommends movies. But real AI efforts really started in the 1950s with the founding of labs in places like MIT. These early systems were already doing something pretty incredible. They would take a bunch of data as input, and they would use that data to learn. The software got better at whatever it was designed to do. But there was a problem. As you kept feeding in more and more data, the systems couldn't keep learning. They hit a plateau. But we're talking about AI today because just a few years ago, something changed. In 2012, a professor at Stanford named Andrew Ng, the guy that taught me about AI, he pioneered a new technology called deep learning. He got it to scale in new ways. So as you kept feeding in more data, it would keep getting better. His breakthrough was an improvement in performance of 10,000%. 10,000%. This was one of the major technological leaps of our times. And it helped set off a wave of innovation that now powers some of the most impressive systems on the planet, from search engines and self-driving cars to IBM's Watson. Now, earlier, Jeff and Dan mentioned another important wave, the increasing importance of talent. Together, these two waves will have much bigger impact than either would on their own. It won't happen overnight or even in the next year, but these forces stand to reshape our industry. They've already started to shape our products. So I'd like to show you 3 examples of where this is already showing up: in Recruiter, in Jobs, and in the broader ecosystem. In each of these cases, we've made a set of subtle changes with dramatic impact. Let's start simple. You might not realize it, but your teams already use AI in Recruiter every day. Anytime you type in a search for something like a designer, we're enhancing your instincts with insights from our data in the form of smart search suggestions. Because you shouldn't need to be able to remember the myriad ways that a designer could describe their relevant skills. Think about it this way. If I asked you to list all the roughly 200 countries in the world, I bet almost no one could do it. I know I couldn't. But if I gave you a piece of paper with a bunch of words on it and just asked you to mark the ones that were countries, that would be easy. Fire truck, Ecuador, shoelace. That's instincts paired with insights, making all of us geography geniuses. Because no one can remember the thousands of skills, the millions of companies, literally millions of companies, that could be pertinent to the search that you're doing. So the point is, when you use Recruiter today, you don't have to craft the perfect search on your own. Our AI is there to help. But that's just the first step. Let's talk about something even more sophisticated. We recently launched the Likely to Respond Spotlight, which is our most powerful spotlight yet, because it uses every signal on the LinkedIn platform to intelligently determine a candidate's interest in you. So let me show you how this works. You click on the spotlight, and it's like it's instantly answering dozens of questions you would want to ask candidates to see if they might be a fit. Things like, have they engaged with our talent brand? Are they open to relocating? Have they looked at similar roles in the past? And it doesn't just use the answers from these questions. It looks for patterns in those answers that have led to success for similar roles in the past. And finally, it ranks all of the candidates, so the ones that you look at first are the ones that fit best. All of this happens for you with the click of a mouse. But these features don't just look cool. We actually know they're working. And I can prove that if I can harken back to what Jeff mentioned earlier. He said in-mail response rates were up 45% year over year, and that's fantastic. But that's actually just the start of the good news. The total number of continuing two-way conversations started in LinkedIn Recruiter has almost doubled in the last year. If you use certain new features like Open a New Opportunities Spotlight, every in-mail you send is twice as likely to turn into a hire as it was before these features. I was really excited when we saw that. I mean, conversations and hires, that's exactly what we want to do for you, and they've doubled. So of course we're doing more here. As we get better and better at understanding what you're searching for and better at helping you find it, we're considering radically new experiences. Like, what if using Recruiter Search meant you didn't have to do a search at all? If we know what you're looking for and we find someone who's a great fit, why would we wait for you to do a search to show them to you? So that's how we're thinking about the future of Recruiter. There's so much more happening in jobs. Our jobs product has grown tremendously. Just a few years ago, we had 300,000 jobs on the site. Today, that number has grown 30-fold to 11 million. And there are more people looking at jobs on LinkedIn than ever before, and they're looking at a wide variety of roles. But it's not just about people looking at jobs, it's about getting the right people to apply. So on top of all this growth, we've added a new power of artificial intelligence. We've always used rich profile information to target your jobs, but more and more, we're adding a deep understanding of members. Members tell us so much about themselves and what they want on LinkedIn, from what type of job they're interested in, to relocation preferences, work authorization. And we see not just what jobs they're looking at, but everything they do on LinkedIn, who they're connecting to. And we even started asking for feedback on their job matches so we could give them more of the kinds of jobs they want. Examining all of this behavior of members on LinkedIn gives us insights beyond their profile, insights into their psychology that help us figure out how to give your jobs to the right person at the right time. Those moments when they're most open, even though they might not be looking. And we know exactly what they want to see, too. Not just the right job, but the right commute, the right salary, and friends that already work there. So while the job-seeking experience has changed quite a bit on LinkedIn, I know all of this is invisible when you're posting a job. But I think the impact is becoming clearer and clearer. Over the last couple of years, the number of applications to jobs that all of you posted on LinkedIn have more than doubled. And we continue to drive more job seekers and make higher quality matches. It's been really exciting for us at LinkedIn to see so many more people getting hired. So of course, we're building on this success. Next year, we're launching a new feature called job targeting that takes the next step by asking you specifically who you want to see your jobs. And if we know who you want to see them, that means we can show your jobs to people who are more likely to get them. It's a win for everybody. And just like in Recruiter, as we get better at leveraging our data to predict who the best applicants are, we're considering big changes in how we connect you. If we can predict who the best applicants are, those people that don't always take the time to complete an application, we can change the way they signal their interest, making it easier for them to signal that interest. Maybe even do things like put them on your calendar automatically. So we're super excited about how jobs is evolving. The last example of how artificial intelligence is impacting our roadmap extends well beyond LinkedIn's core products. It applies to the end-to-end hiring process regardless of what system you use. That's why last year we launched our most powerful and robust integration with applicant tracking systems ever, Recruiter System Connect. It's a suite of features that make your ATS and LinkedIn work better together. Let me give you a couple examples. When you're searching in Recruiter and you find a profile that looks like a good fit, you want to reach out, the first thing you usually want to do is see, are they already in your ATS? Who talked to them? What was the outcome? Today, instead of digging through your ATS for that information, those insights are layered right on top of the LinkedIn profile, so you can choose what the next action is immediately. And customers that are turning on Recruiter System Connect today are also powering their past applicant spotlight, which uses interactions in your ATS to guide you to the best fitting candidates. This raises your in-mail response rate another 45 to 50%. There are people sending like 100 messages using this spotlight and starting 50 conversations. So we're super excited about that. And of course, we're doing even more here too. Next year, we're launching a feature called LinkedIn Match that uses LinkedIn profile information to provide insights on the applicants inside your ATS, allowing you to prioritize the best applicants, saving you time and making sure those best applicants don't get buried. The first set of Recruiter System Connect partners are starting to launch now. And we're excited to say that more ATS companies are partnering with us than ever before. So I've given you a few examples. Yeah, excited about RSC. I've given you just a few examples of how this AI trend is impacting our products, but it's happening everywhere. We've gone from using profiles to a deep understanding of candidates and a deeper understanding of you and your searches and your roles. And we've already seen twice as many applications, conversations, and hires from key features. Our products have grown twice as valuable, and they're only getting more valuable. In just the time since Dan started talking, we've collected data on 10 million interactions on LinkedIn. In total, we have hundreds of billions of data points. That's why I'm here. That's why I joined LinkedIn. Because a dream from the 1950s is finally coming true due to a breakthrough from 2012. And as the data keeps pouring into LinkedIn's massive data set, the algorithms will keep learning. The products will keep getting better. That's what makes AI such a powerful trend. But I want to end on the most important point. Because it's not about our products. It's about you. It's about the people that you talk to. All of these product improvements, they only have one goal: to make your job easier so you can focus more on candidates instead of keywords, on belonging instead of Boolean. Thank you. Back to Dan.
Stuff is so exciting. It's sort of mind-blowing to think about what the technology that we have available to us today can do in the world. And just listening to John talk, and I found myself watching Andrew Ng videos and courses online and on the weekends. I don't know what I'm doing, but the stuff is just so fascinating. What's cool about it is it's not just theory. We're seeing the impacts of the smallest of changes backed by powerful technology on clients all over the world. Comcast saw 150% growth in the conversion rate of their applications to based on some of this capability. PayPal increased recruiter efficacy by over 100%. And ABB, by bringing all of their jobs onto the platform, powered by machine learning and artificial intelligence, increased the traffic to their career site by 5x. And so we're very focused on making sure that all of this capability is accessible to you. But talent intelligence isn't just about hiring faster or more efficiently. It's about hiring differently as well. We think that talent intelligence has the potential to allow us to look at talent pools that we never looked at before, to create more diverse and representative channels, and to help us build teams that win in our companies with a diversity of thought, background, and capability. Early this year, we took a team of people at LinkedIn and separated them out and had them focus purely on thinking about leveraging this capability in our core products. We had a breakout session yesterday where we shared some of the early wins. And what we found is that by making subtle adjustments in products like Recruiter, we can increase outreach to more diverse audiences. In one search alone, we increased outreach to women in technical roles by 20 to 40%. And the same results on educational background. So we're very excited about thinking about how to apply these capabilities in new ways, and we're going to be sharing more about our plans in the coming months. If I look back at the presentation we shared earlier, one of the key things we mentioned is that you're under increasing scrutiny from all the stakeholders in your organization to bring insights to talent strategy discussions. I've had many conversations with some of you about how do you bring data to a really hard discussion where it's mostly just opinions that are causing the decision. I had a conversation just a few months ago with one of my clients, and he said, hey, Dan, I've got this meeting with our CEO, and we don't really have the data to make the case, and no one's really got clarity. And so we went off, and we pulled some data, and I shared with him a report, and as he saw it, he ripped it out of my hand and ran down the hall to the CEO's office and said, look, this is what I've been telling you. We need a new strategy. What we're doing isn't working. And he finally had the data to prove his case. That moment happens in our lives all the time, where we don't have the clarity to drive our organizations forward. To show you how we're going to do this for all of you going forward at scale, I'd like to bring up Kate Hastings, Head of Insights at Talent Solutions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kate Hastings, and I'm obsessed with data. Totally obsessed. I lead the Insights team, as Dan just mentioned, and a lot of you will have worked with our team. But for those of you who haven't, what we do is we partner with our customers to answer their most strategic, most thorny talent questions. Questions like these. And what we found is that our questions from our customers tend to fall into two camps. Either our customers are looking to execute on a growth strategy, enter new segments, find new customers, launch new products, or they're getting in touch with us because they're facing some challenges. So I'll give you an example. I had a call recently from a customer. I'll call her Anna. She's the head of talent acquisition at a global company. And she called me. And she said, Kate, I've got a problem, and I actually don't even know where to begin. So Anna's company had been planning to hire new business development people to help them launch into a new customer segment. And Anna's team had had a lot of experience executing on these strategies previously. But there was a problem. Suddenly, they weren't able to find the business development professionals that they had in the past, and they weren't sure why. So when we partnered with Anna, the first thing we did was benchmark her with her competitors. When we looked at the people she was trying to hire in the market she was trying to hire, we found something really interesting. All of her competitors were suffering in the same way. This was not a company problem. This was an industry problem. And once we knew that, we worked with Anna to think about rejigging her hiring requisitions and looking at different candidates with different types of experience for business development so that she could open up brand new talent pools and execute on her company's strategy. With that mindset shift, Anna then partnered with her workforce planning team to think about where they could locate a center of excellence so that hiring business development people going forward would be much more straightforward. What I love about this story is that Anna took a pretty much an everyday talent struggle that we all face in hiring roles and turned it into a competitive advantage. And I know that our customers depend on us, on LinkedIn, to help them with these talent challenges that they face. I know because my team gets 10,000 requests every year to help with exactly these kinds of challenges. Now, I know I said I love data, but 10,000 is kind of a lot, even for me. But I don't even think about it as 10,000 data requests or 10,000 insights problems. I think about it as 10,000 reactions, like this one. This is one of our customers when we gave her the insights that she needed to help execute on her strategy. And I'm struck by the fact that this is an emotional reaction to data. Emotion and data are in the same place. I love that. And I think I know where this emotion comes from. It comes from the fact that there's a disconnect in our industry. Over 70% of CEOs say that talent creates a competitive advantage for their company. But the problem is that only about a third of HR functions feel that they're good or excellent in this category. So if you felt like it's hard to find the insights that you need to execute on your company's strategy, you're not alone. Far from it. So being a lover of data, what I think is you guys need more data. That's how you're going to answer it. You need a lot more data. But when we talk to you, we find you don't need data. You're drowning in data in some cases. What you need is insight. And not just insight, real-time insight, actionable and on demand when you need it to answer the questions that you need. In these conversations that we've had with our customers over the last few years, you've told us you don't want more of this data. You want us to deal with the data so that we can take you from code to clicks, so that the Annas of the world can get the answers they need, not after 2 weeks of discussions with LinkedIn, or by hiring a team of consultants, or even by having access to the raw data and hiring a team of data scientists, but in 10 minutes on their laptop. That's why I'm really excited about this announcement. We have partnered with Product over the last year to think about how we could bring this vision to life. And today we are announcing the product that we're working on, LinkedIn Talent Insights. This is going to be your go-to destination to get the answers that you need to develop that strategic talent strategy that aligns with your overall company strategy, and to recruit effectively and confidently. I could not be more excited to bring up our next speaker, the product leader who is bringing this vision to life, and my buddy, Eric Oski.
Thanks, Kate. I'm excited to take you all on a tour of LinkedIn Talent Insights. But before I start, I'd like to make a confession. Is it okay for me to be honest here? I know what you're all thinking. This is the most obvious product idea of all time. And it's taken a decade of you banging down our door to finally get us to build it. But seriously, it's reasonable to ask, why now? And the answer is pretty simple. It's because our data is ready for a product like this. If I had to sum up the challenge of building LinkedIn Talent Insights in a single question, it's this. How do we harness all of the intelligence from more than 500 million members, 11 million jobs, 18 million companies, and 50,000 standardized skills in a product that everyone in this room can learn to use in just a few minutes? For me and the amazing team that's been working on this product, it's been the opportunity of a lifetime to take this incredible data set we have on the global workforce and bring it to life. We're providing unprecedented visibility into hidden talent pools and the movement of professionals around the world between companies and between cities. And so what we hope we're building is a product that will help you answer both strategic and tactical questions and everything in between. The product that I'm going to show you today is the first version of the product, and it will contain two different types of reports: talent pools and companies. So let's start with talent pools. Let's imagine that I'm researching electrical engineers in Europe, because I just got a request for an analysis from the head of our largest business unit. So I'm prompted to start my search with a title or a skill, and I'm not sure exactly what skills I need, so I'm going to start with the title, electrical engineer. And because I want a really broad view of the market, I'll just search in Europe. And from that simple query, here's what I learned about electrical engineers in Europe. How many there are, how many of them have changed jobs in the last 12 months, how many job openings there are right now, and how difficult it is to hire them. But I can also go deeper. Let's say I want to compare locations. I can compare London to Istanbul and Athens to Dublin. I notice in this list as well that Helsinki has particularly low demand, and it may be a hidden gem for recruiting. I can also see how this talent pool is migrating between cities. And I can see how it's migrating in and out of industries. So now we've explored the geographic landscape, but what about the employer landscape? Before you open a new office or even your next requisition, you need to understand your competition. So now at a glance, I can see who employs electrical engineers today and how many. Which of these companies are growing that part of their workforce? And even which companies have high attrition and which ones are doing a great job at retaining their talent. Now, because LinkedIn facilitates millions of interactions every day between employers and job seekers, we can also provide really deep insight on the strength of your talent brand within a talent pool. For example, how much are electrical engineers engaging with your talent brand relative to your competitors? How likely is an electrical engineer to respond to one of your emails relative to the other companies that are recruiting for this talent? And how does this talent perceive you as an employer? Are there any perception gaps that you need to close in order to be more effective recruiting this talent? So this may sound like a lot, but all of the insights you see here are available with one simple query in a compact report, either in snapshot form or in depth, depending on what you need. And what's most exciting is, after just a few minutes, you're ready to go back to the head of the business unit who requested this analysis as an expert and make some recommendations. There are two things I want to highlight about this product as well that make it really easy to use. So in the first search we conducted, we used a title, but realistically, you use both titles and skills to define your talent pools. So how do I know that I have the right population included in this report? I can click on the Profiles tab in the talent pool report, and I can see a sampling of the profiles that are included in this analysis. So let's say these profiles are close, but they're not exactly what I'm looking for. I actually want a subset of electrical engineers. I simply click into the left rail. I add a few skills, hit apply, refresh the report, and immediately I have new results. Second, every insight you see here is available for export with beautiful, easy-to-read visualizations so that you can share them with all of your key stakeholders: recruiters, hiring managers, workforce planners, HRBPs, and other key business leaders. Next, let's explore the second type of report, the company report. When I was researching electrical engineers in Europe, I noticed that one company in particular was growing that part of its workforce quickly. And I also know from a recent conversation that our executives are really interested in benchmarking against this company. So I clicked to learn more. And immediately, I see the answers to questions that up until now were almost impossible to find, or they required a dedicated team of analysts doing extensive internet research. Like, how is this company's workforce distributed by location and by job function? What is the skills composition of this workforce? And what skills are they adding? And how fast? How does this company's workforce composition compare to mine? And finally, how is talent flowing in and out of this company? Where are they hiring from? And when talent leaves, where does it go? As you can see, these are not just recruiting questions. This is talent strategy at its best. Talent strategy that can move entire organizations in new directions because you and your teams know what's happening with your competitors and your peers, or even the latest startup to launch a product in your industry. Over the last few months, as I've been showing early previews of this product, inevitably someone in the room jumps up and says, "Someone asked me for insights like this yesterday." And we live in a world in which every random question can be answered almost instantly. Who won the '96 World Series? Who directed that movie? What was the name of the supervillain in Season 8, Episode 2 of The Simpsons? It's Hank Scorpio. But in talent, when you get a really urgent question, it's been impossible, or nearly impossible, to find the right answer quickly. We think LinkedIn Talent Insights changes that. And really, this is just the beginning of a much more ambitious vision that we have. We imagine a world in which this is the place you come to ask any talent-related question you have, about talent inside your company or outside. We imagine a world in which the data barriers between recruiting, workforce planning, compensation, learning and development, and employee engagement no longer exist. So, when is this product launching? We're going to have our first few beta customers using the product later this month, with a wider release coming in the middle of next year. If you want to learn more today, you can visit our booth just outside, or you can attend the breakout session this afternoon. And I say sincerely, we could not be more excited to put this product in your hands. Thanks, and with that, I'll turn it back over to Dan.
Can't wait to get that product out for all of you. It's so exciting. It's so cool. All right, let's take stock in where we are. We believe that the future of recruiting is a world of talent intelligence, where we take the best of LinkedIn data, combine it with your data, and layer it on top of the best practices in machine learning and artificial intelligence to rethink every step in the recruiting process. And that winning teams will combine great recruiting, great instincts, with amazing data and insights to win in their markets. We're already leveraging this technology in our existing products in Recruiter and Jobs. We're enabling the ecosystem of ATSs through Recruiter System Connect. And we're launching a new product, LinkedIn Talent Insights, to put the kind of answers that you need into your hands to enable the business, to bring clarity to decisions, to drive the agenda, to answer questions that haven't even been posed. I have to be honest, the conversation within the R&D team at LinkedIn has never been more exciting. There are so many things that we're thinking about that we can use our data for to help solve big HR and recruiting challenges. I even know what's the keynote speech at Next Talent Connect 2019. But I'm really bad at keeping secrets. You guys want to hear a secret? As it turns out, LinkedIn Talent Insights is the second most asked for feature that we have in our arsenal. It's the thing that most clients have asked me, but there's actually something that comes above that. It's this. One more slide. OK, great. Thanks. Awesome. How do we actually get a single view of sourcing and managing applicants in the same place? Every client I talk to is figuring out all the duct tape in the world to take the information that they have in Recruiter and the information they have to manage the rest of their pipeline and have a single view. To be honest, they're doing it with this. This is Microsoft's Excel, which is a wonderful product. But it's not built for this. You don't want to do it here. You want to do it here. Next year, we're going to be bringing out the LinkedIn hiring platform. For small teams to source and manage applicants and candidates in a single place. We're already building this out, and we've done a ton of research. And what I'd like to share with you is 3 design principles that we're using to define the product. The first is this idea of one funnel. When you open a rec, everything from understanding the talent pool available to you, to being able to analyze your applicants, all the way through to hire, a single view of what's going on. One of the things that that's going to enable is that when you find someone you love, we'll show you 10 more people just like them. When you find a skill that you didn't know existed, we'll show you how available that skill is in your market. Single view. The second thing is, artificial intelligence allows us to make the system a learning system. What that means is that every time you say you like someone, we're going to use that little bit of information to target more effectively for you. Every time you hire someone, the next hire is going to be easier because we're going to learn a little bit more about why that person was right and why they were different from the other people you considered. So the system's going to learn over time. And then finally, we're going to take every step in the process and find ways to infuse data and insight through talent intelligence to reinvent how the process works. I'll show you one little example of this, but I think everyone's been in this moment. It's Monday morning and you go to work and you've got a stack of applicants to look through for a job. We're going to make it really easy to figure out where to spend your time, because you don't want to look at 200 people. You want to spend time with the best 10. So we're going to stack these people up, and we're going to show you insights that are going to help you quickly decide what to do. Here's Clyde. Clyde's a pretty good candidate match. He actually worked at a company that you've historically hired from. He's really interested in your company. We can tell from some of his LinkedIn activity. But you're not quite sure what to do with him. As it turns out, he used to work with someone at your company. Reach out for feedback. Get that feedback right back then. You can decide what to do. Here's Justin. Justin, clearly interested in your company, not sure he actually read the job description, doesn't have any of the skills. Let's move on. Here's Cliff. Cliff looks pretty awesome. He's got a lot of the skills. He's hired from a place that you've actually got some experience hiring from, which is great. Looks like he's pretty interested. Let's bring him in for an interview. Fantastic. And here's Janie. Janie looks amazing. Janie's got the skill that you are looking for. She's a perfect fit. She looks pretty interested, but let's not actually send her in for an interview. That feels like the wrong move right now. Let's invite her to dinner with an executive so that that executive can get her engaged, and then you can bring her into the hiring process. We believe that we can bring insights to the conversation that allow you to decide the next move. And we believe we're moving to a world where customized candidate experiences based on data is going to allow you to be much more flexible in the way that you engage clients, because you're going to be spending time with the ones you care about. So next year, we're going to be excited to bring the hiring platform to small teams everywhere. And this is part of a much larger talent intelligence strategy. Wherever kind of systems you use, whether it be the hiring platform that we offer, whether it be an ATS, our goal is to use our products and our data and our intelligence to enable you to rethink every step in recruiting so that you can be efficient, so that you can focus on leveraging great teams of recruiters with instincts combined with insights to change the game and win in your markets. It's been wonderful to be here with all of you to share some of what we've been working on. Thank you so much. We're going to queue up a video with some of the reactions that we've heard from customers for our new Talent Insights product. Have a wonderful conference.
It's an absolute war for talent. We're out there fighting every day for every hire.
Hiring managers are asking the recruiting team, how can we get the best top talent quicker? And what locations and companies are we not tapping into?
The challenge is that we are flying blind with our existing data on recruiting.
We don't have access to the type of data and insights we need to make the right decisions around sourcing, location strategy, and competitive information.
We piecemeal a bunch of things together, and there's not one-stop shop we could go to find a collective picture about what's going on in the market.
When I first saw LinkedIn Talent Insight, my first reaction was, wow, this is going to be amazing.
I wanted to jump out of my chair. I was so excited about it, and I wanted to get my hands on it right away. This has to be the biggest thing that LinkedIn has done since LinkedIn Recruiter.
Loved that you can get a macro view on the talent you're trying to attract, but then you can click down and go very deep into specific areas.
In this war for talent, I need all of the competitive insights I can get, and this product provides it.
What used to take us months and months of research now can take us just minutes.
Our business leaders are going to say, where have you been hiding this information?
I absolutely believe that this is going to change the trajectory of our company.
It does position you to have that proverbial seat at the table to influence and navigate leaders through talent decisions.
I have no doubt that it will elevate the role of talent acquisition for years to come.
When I think of LinkedIn Talent Insights, I think finally.
Moneyball for recruiting.
Groundbreaking.
Powerful. Empowering.
Wow.